tell the audience one of your best option trades, and this was recently in 24 hours.
It was 24 hours. I made $3,500
in 24 hours.
In 24 hours.
Well, welcome back to Wealthy Investor TV. Of course, I am Tyrone Jackson, your guide to financial success, trading and investing in the stock market. I'm so happy you could join me right here at Wealthy Investor TV. It's always a good day when you and I have the opportunity to spend time together. Well, you've tuned in on a terrific episode because tonight we're going to be talking about advanced options trades. Now, you guys love trading in the stock market. I can tell from the comments that you leave below and the emails that you send me at thewealthyinvestor.net. But tonight you're in for a real treat because expert option and stock trader Andre Blake is here. Wow. Welcome, Andre Blake.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Do you
Tyrone.
have any idea how excited I am to have you on this episode of Wealthy Investor TV?
A little bit.
Yes.
No, not really.
No, it's just thrill. It's thrilling.
It's great.
Now, anybody who listens to the podcast, they know that we actually have a friendship.
Yes, sir.
For quite some time. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, watching you grow as an options trader has been amazing.
Well, thank you.
Because in order to get to the point where you could make a lot of money, you had to lose some money, right?
Yes.
Yes. And people don't like to hear that. They just want to hear that you wake up one day, you're this great trader.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. Now, we're going to start off talking about success first, generally in life, and then how we apply that to advanced options trading.
Okay.
And for those of you who are watching at home, if you get a little lost in some of the topics that we're going to cover here tonight, that simply means that maybe you need an options education, okay? Because we may get into high implied volatility in the money out, the money options.
Sure.
Okay. So first of all, one of your best days, which we're going to get to in just a moment here, but tell the audience one of your best option trades, and this was recently in 24 hours.
It was 24 hours. I made $3,500
in 24 hours.
In 24 hours.
Now, technically, as an options trader, it really wasn't 24 hours.
Well,
it was
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
But
truth be told.
Right. When we talk about this trade, we're really talking about 15 minutes before the market closes.
Correct.
And 15 minutes when it opens.
Right.
Maybe 17 minutes in total.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
So hold that thought and let's go back. Now, some people know you as a very recognizable actor. You were in Philadelphia with Denzel Washington.
Yes, I was.
You always pop up in some movie doing something. But most people know you as the voice of
BET Network.
The BET Network. Those of you who are watching at home, when someone says up next on BET, that's actually you.
Coming up next on BET.
That has been a sweet gig for you.
5 years.
Okay. So you've been successful in what we call in the entertainment business, the off-camera world, as well as the on-camera world.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you've been successful in those arenas, why options trading and why the stock market?
Why options trading and why the stock market? Because I'm a dad.
Okay.
I have 2 children, and eventually they will go to college, and somebody's got to pay for it.
Right.
And with a little bit of luck, they'll pay for it with their own brokerage accounts.
How about that? Isn't that something?
Yes, sir.
So you trade not only for the extra money, but also because you have the responsibility of raising
Most definitely, yeah, and also for the freedom, for financial freedom. That's the one thing that trading has given me insofar as lifestyle goes and things that I wanted to do. I remember a few years ago, I thought to myself, you know what? I want to dress the way I want to dress.
Yes.
And you start trading and start making this money, and you go, hey, you know what? I can kind of step my game up here and go pick up a custom suit from Tom James and, do all these other things and, drive a BMW or whatever it is.
Yes.
But to know that you have somewhere to go to make it rain.
Yes, financially.
Financially is a beautiful thing.
Now, you are the reason that I now have my suits custom made.
Yes, sir.
And put my name in, because you said, Tyrone, you have got to do that. Is that right?
Got to step your game up.
Right. Now, you're trying to convince me to go out and buy a BMW also.
Yes, sir.
Right. And I like the Range Rover. So good luck with that campaign. Yeah. and Andre always says to me, how come you like the Range Rover so much? I go, I look so good getting in and out of it.
You look good getting in and out of BMW too. You kidding me, man?
All right. So one thing at a time. One thing at a time.
Yes.
Let's talk about the mindset for success.
Yes.
Because there's an interesting parallel between the mindset to be successful professionally, and you bring that mindset to stock and options trading.
Most definitely.
What do you think the mental attitude for success professionally? Just give us some concepts that you would recommend if anybody wants to be successful just in their profession first.
To be consistent. I think a lot of times life will get in the way and we'll stop going to the class. We'll stop reading the book, whether it's autobiography or whatever it is that you know will help you to sharpen your tools. You have to stay in it. And that consistency, that constantly showing up. I know that worked for me in my voiceover career. Quick example. I remember when I was starting in the VO world, and I realized that actors would check out on Fridays. So I thought to myself, well, you know what? I'll let them check out. And I called my agent. I said, listen, I know people check out on Fridays. I'm always available. I have a motorcycle. I can be anywhere in 15 minutes. I made that decision, told my agents that, and my career in the voiceover world took off.
Right. And the voiceover world, very competitive.
Very.
So it's not like, starting a law firm or a plumbing business where, someone's always going to need your services.
Right. It's different. Different products need different voices. So, you got to be able to be flexible and consistent and show up and show out,
yes,
if you will.
And that also has something to do with trading because you have to be consistent as a trader.
Yes, you do.
Okay, gratitude of attitude. Attitude of gratitude, you always say. Yes, explain that to our audience.
You have to expect good things to happen. You have to know that, you know what, I can do this. If Tyrone could do this, I could sure enough do this.
Well, that is true.
Listen, at the end of the day, nothing really makes anyone smarter than the next guy, but really applying yourself and listening and staying open and being grateful. We could sit here and talk about suits and cars all day, but if you're not grateful for the opportunity to learn what it is that we're learning, that you so graciously have chosen to teach people, then it's not going to work out.
A lot of people don't expect good things to happen for them financially.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, why?
And I think that speaks to their money beliefs.
Okay, tell me about that. Why do you think that is?
I don't know about you, but I always heard growing up, strong West Indian family, be careful of them rich people, man. They're just bad. They have bad thoughts and this and that. No, that's not true. I think you are who you are. If you're a bad person with money, then you're just a bad person. But good people who have money do good things.
Yes.
So, I think also that goes back to that attitude of gratitude that I was talking about. And if you want to be good to people, you'll be good to people. And that's that.
Well, it's interesting because in having this platform where I'm able to help so many people, I am so grateful for this era that we live in which a show like this can be seen all around the world.
Most
and people can draw inspiration from people like you.
Well, thank you.
And finally, I love the West Indian accents. The one thing that I just can't do. So people go, do you a West Indian accent? I'm always doing Tyrone, doing Andre, doing a West Indian accent. All right. So if we continue on with success tools, so
Yes.
A little gratitude for everything that we have. We're not in a war-torn country. We have freedom of choice.
Yes.
The third thing that you would think would help people in terms of understanding what it means to be successful and to achieve great success.
Don't worry about what the next guy's doing.
Okay, that's a big one. Explain that.
I use the term stay in your lane. If you're focusing on what the next guy has or what the next guy is doing, then you're pulling your focus away from what you need to be focusing on.
Right.
Some people are more gifted in other areas than others, whether it's math, whether it's like yourself, the ability to teach the stock market to people in layman's terms, which is huge. I remember, quick example, early in my trading career, I tried to watch a show called Fast Money.
Right.
And they might as well have been speaking Chinese or Mandarin or whatever it was. And then several months later, after I acquired some knowledge, I watched the show and it seemed as if they were still speaking very quickly, but it all slowed down for me. I was like, oh, I know what they're talking about.
Right.
And, when it starts making sense, it starts making sense.
Right.
You know, I often say in the voiceover world, or I talk to people about, coaching and what have you, when you know what you're talking about, you usually speak pretty quickly.
Right.
Because you know it.
Right.
You know it, and you just blow through it.
Right.
So, yeah, same concept, if you will.
Okay. So we'll stay with those ideas of success, gratitude, attitude, being consistent. And the third one was don't worry about other people. Stay in your lane.
Yes.
Keep the focus on yourself.
Yes.
Because you can only trade and invest at your speed first.
And based on the size of your account. Sure.
And based on the size of your account. Now let's take those principles and let's transfer them to options trading.
Okay.
So I took some notes before the show started. And number one, you said, don't buy shorter dated options. Why is it people think that they're going to make a lot of money in options on buying 30 and 90-day call options? It's got to be pure greed.
It's greed, but also once you start trading options and you see how swiftly they can move, it becomes very attractive.
Right.
And you're like, well, why should I pay $2,000 for this Leaps call when I can spend $600-700 on this shorter call?
Right.
The stock will go up. I'll make my money. But see, they're not taking a whole bunch of other factors into account.
Right.
Intrinsic value, implied volatility, delta. You have to take those things into consideration when you're trading
And the number
options.
one thing that I just feel so compelled to hit home is time.
Yes.
If you're trading options,
you want time to be right.
Right. You want time to be right. And that is my number one rule when it comes to trading options. You can make a lot of money with options, but you have to understand time, to put it in technical terms, which would be theta and time decay. So would you agree with the idea that on an out of the money 90-day call option, you're not going to make $100,000 because there's just not enough time.
No.
And it's out of the money. So it has zero intrinsic value.
It has zero intrinsic value. Theta is doing a number on that option. 90 days out?
Yes. Right.
Because once that thing falls into the 60, 45 day option and it's still out of the money, it's losing value. Like the value is running out of that option.
Right.
And you're looking at it panicking going, oh my gosh, I bought 30 of those.
Right.
Why would you do that?
Right. Well, somewhere along the line, you don't have the right financial education. I can tell you that.
That's for sure.
Okay. So you favor longer dated options known as LEAPs.
Yes.
Long-term equity anticipation securities.
Yes.
Okay. Why do you like the LEAPs? Number one, time, right?
Time.
Okay.
But also, like what we've discussed from time to time, I like trading options around an event.
Yes.
So that if you know, let's take earnings, for example.
Yes.
Something is going to happen.
Yes. A company is going to report, just so the audience understand, a company is going to report their earnings after the market closes.
Correct.
If that is an event, that is a tradable event.
Yes, it is.
Either up or down, right?
Yes, sir.
A call option in this case is a derivative. And if that stock rises $9 and you own a long-term LEAPs,
I'm in the money. Yes.
it's going to be a great night. But when you sell that puppy in the morning, you're going to make a lot of money, right?
Hello. Yeah.
Okay. So around tradable events like earnings, you can do very well off of LEAP options.
Yes, you can.
Okay. LEAP options in or out of the money?
I like a mix.
Okay. Explain that.
Okay. In the money,
Yes.
you have more intrinsic value in that option, which means it won't go to zero.
Right.
Out of the money options, or that just out of the money option, I like because when that LEAPs option, that call jumps and becomes an in the money call
On the conversion.
it's going to pick up speed.
Yes.
And that's a wonderful place for you to capitalize on the movement of this stock.
Okay, now here's what everybody says. But Tyrone, if you're buying these this is we're talking the kind of stuff now. We talk about options. We're talking about $3,000 days, $10,000 days, $30,000 days. Okay, everybody says, but the bid ask spread is so wide on an option that expires 19 months from now. And you say,
what do you care?
Right.
If you're going to hang out in that option and you've got 18 months to get it right, and the stock moves $10 and it's a Delta 50 or Delta 60 option.
Right.
If the spread is, let's call it $1.
Okay.
great.
Right.
And so you need the stock to move $2 before you start seeing a profit.
Right.
But if the stock moves $10,
Right.
and you picked up $8 on a technicality, it's going to be more than that.
Because the delta accelerates.
Because the delta will accelerate.
Right.
You're a rock star.
You are a rock star. Even on 5 contracts.
Come
you're a rock
on,
star.
man.
Okay. So you have learned through time,
Yes.
stay with your longer dated leaps. Now, I don't know if we've talked about this recently. I don't know if we share the same philosophy on these options in the payday. I like the leaps because if the stock doesn't move, you can go into calendar spreads.
Yes.
And there's the opportunity to triple the money that you put into the options, thus the custom-made suits. Right?
Yes.
Do you like that as well? Or you're looking just around that tradable event to sell those options at an extraordinary rate of return?
I prefer the tradable event.
Okay.
I appreciate and have an admiration for the calendar spread.
Okay.
And so my favorite spread is the bear call.
Yes.
Because it's...
Well, hold on, because we'll get there.
I'm sorry.
Let's just stay with the leaps, because
Okay.
the bear call's front month
Right.
dated. So with the leaps, the opportunity to triple your money,
It's there.
that's appealing to you.
Yes.
Okay. Have you held any leaps for 19 months without having sold them, therefore selling spread calls against them? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's important that after some time,
Right.
if you don't get the movement that you were looking for,
Yeah.
that it's probably a good idea to start selling some front month calls against that leap so
Right.
that you can start to recoup some of that money.
Right.
You know, it's just a smart thing to do.
Right.
So if, let's just say, for example, I purchased 10 leap contracts and it's 2 months later and I haven't gotten that forward advancement in the stock that I was looking for,
Right.
maybe I would start selling some front month calls, shorter calls, against 2, 3 of those options.
Right. You would split your contracts. If
Correct.
You have how many in your scenario?
say 10.
Okay. So then you're going to sell 5 front month calls.
Sure.
Right. Because if the stock rises, you could
Still
sell
want to
5
participate,
contracts. Right.
And you're a rock star.
Right.
Again.
Okay. Now, this is interesting because even though you're buying these leap options that move very fast, that allow you to make a lot of money when the stock goes bullish, you still cover call right.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Why a
Well,
bet?
no, it's my show. I know that. But explain to them, why you, because that feeds back into your idea of consistency. Why do you
Yes.
keep selling those cover calls?
You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't kick the horse out the stable that's been winning races for you.
Right.
If you have a system,
Right.
a trade that works, that gives you guaranteed income, because at the end of the day, options trading isn't guaranteed
Correct.
income.
Correct.
I'll take that guaranteed money and keep my leaps trades or options trades, if you will, as the dessert.
Okay.
If the covered call is my main meal,
Right.
the longer calls, the
Right,
leaps, if
right,
you will,
right.
is my dessert.
I think a lot of people think they just want the fast money. Therefore, I just want to own the options.
But see, for me, that's when I wish for people to lose money.
Okay.
Because the minute you lose money and you go out and you purchase that 3-month call or that 6-month call and the stock moves against you and you go, oh gosh, I bought 20 of those.
Right.
And you don't know how to get out of it, or you don't have enough time
Right.
to get out of that option. So the value is leaving it faster than you can sell calls against it.
Absolutely. It's hard to hedge.
It's very difficult to hedge.
Right.
So why would you put yourself in that posture,
Right.
knowing that, okay, I could either buy 30 leaps, or how about I just sell five covered calls against 500 shares, use that money to subsidize the purchase of these leaps.
Yes.
So that the market is giving you the money for you to go have your dessert.
Yes, that makes sense to me.
Yes.
But there are people who are short-dated option traders, and they never adapt that philosophy, and that is amazing.
Sad.
Well,
Well, it's one game with 100 different ways
that's
to
right.
play.
They'd make a lot
Yeah.
more money if they traded longer-dated
Sure.
leaps.
Sure.
Okay. Now, I know we're losing some people on this discussion, and that's fine. But some of our audience actually understands what we're talking about. But that's why you watch Wealthy Investor TV, to get that financial education, to learn that there's some instrument out there,
Yes.
lower risk, that makes a lot of money
can
on
work
the
for you.
option side.
Most definitely.
Okay, I got to get to a commercial. When we come back, I'm going to continue my discussion about fast money options trading with Andre Blake. Back in a moment. Hey, it's Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, and I know something about you. You're always wondering what stock should you trade and what stock should you invest in. That's why you can follow my trades every single week at witradeschool.com. You see, at WI Trade School, I help people just like you make money in the stock market. Whether the market goes up, goes down, or stay the same. And one of the benefits of becoming a WI Trade School member is I'll answer your trading questions every single week in my video blog. Now, the best thing about WI Trade School, you have access to it 24 hours a day as long as you have an internet connection. So log on to witradeschool.com or click below and I'll see you there. It's time for me to help you make money in the stock market right now. And welcome back to Wealthy Investor TV. Today we're talking advanced options trading with options trader extraordinaire, Andre Blake.
Extraordinaire, I like that.
Now, before the commercial, we were talking about a lot of the technical aspects of trading leaps options as opposed to shorter dated options.
Yes.
We know we're losing some people, but some people really do understand what we're talking about. Okay. We want the audience to know that it is possible to have $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 days trading options, but you have to learn how to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you favor leaps options, and you mentioned before the break this idea of a tradable event.
Yes.
Okay. Now, are there any type of stocks that you like owning leaps on and others that you don't?
I like owning leaps on growth stocks, but in the words of a friend of mine, one Zane Mark, you have to have your big boy or girl drawers on.
Yeah, he says big girl panties.
Yes, big girl panties. I wasn't sure if we could say that.
We can say panties.
Wealthy Investor TV. Because, these growth stocks that don't have a dividend to support them are very volatile.
They are.
So you may purchase, or let's just say in this example, you have enough to purchase 6 leaps, and you go cowboy style and go, well, I'm just going to jump all in, and you purchase all 6, and then the stock turns around and drops $5 on you.
Yes.
If you aren't prepared, emotionally, for that experience, it can be jarring,
right?
But you also have to understand, just as that stock moved $5 against you, it can turn around in a week, or maybe a month, or maybe 2 months, and shoot up $10, $15.
Yes.
But again, so had you split it out, if you will, and just purchased 3 up front, and said, okay, well, let me see how this goes. Let's see how this works.
Right.
Let's say you get a 1% up day in the stock and you go, oh, okay, cool. It's going to move. Let me go on ahead and pick up those other 3. And then all of a sudden you're out of all 6 with a really handsome profit.
Yes.
Great.
Right.
But you can't be greedy. I think greed, like speed, sometimes kills.
Yes. Now, we're talking a lot about call options. Do you ever purchase put options?
I'm not a fan of the put option.
Okay. Why?
Because if you're wrong, you're wrong. I prefer a bear call spread because if you're wrong, you're right.
Right. Well, yes.
Well, on a technicality, on how you choose to set up your trade.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So if you structure your trade properly, win-win.
Right.
Stock goes down, you close out your front month that you sold against, the longer call, and great. And you just wash, rinse, repeat.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so you stay away from puts.
Yes.
You like those longer dated leap options.
Yes.
Sometimes around a tradable event, sometimes not. You prefer it on a stock that does not pay
a dividend
because there's more volatility there. And the institutions they're using, they're using covered calls to hedge off their positions too.
Yes.
It's like we all win.
Yes.
Okay. Do you like options on Dow components?
Yes, I do. I actually own a couple leaps on Visa.
Okay.
Why would I do that? If I know that Visa is going to move $3 to $5 over 6 months to a year, well, why wouldn't I own a leaps contract or 2?
Right.
It's an easy way for you to participate
Yes.
in the growth of this Dow component,
Right.
without having to necessarily sell covered calls against it to possibly be to have those shares taken away from you.
Right. So what you're saying is you would own the shares.
Yes.
We follow $5 buy signals. You would own the shares, and you would own a Leaps as a longer position because you get the exponential growth
Correct.
off of the Leaps options plus the shares.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming you also like that because it has a positive impact on margin.
Yes, on my margin and
Right. And the margin is a line of credit that your broker extends to you. So you're kind of getting the double whammy when the stock moves 2 or 3.
double dip, if you will. Yes, sir.
Do you find on those positions that are Dow components, when you take a Leaps position, that because the stock is less volatile, are you getting a smaller bid-ask spread?
Yes.
Yeah, because I happen to like that as well. Okay. Plus, you're collecting dividends from the stock too.
You're getting paid 3 ways to Sunday.
Yeah, all the way around.
I'll take that.
Very nice. Very nice. Have you ever lost money on an options trade, sir?
Yes.
Yes, you don't make money without at some point losing money, right?
I wish all of you to lose a little bit of money at some point in time.
Okay, second time you've said that during the show. Why do you say that?
Because then you learn something. You learn, okay, don't do that. It's like, wait, that hurt. So the first time you run out and go, wait a minute, this stock moved. This stock has been moving. It's moving $5-6 a day. And oh my gosh, I can make a lot of money. And you go ahead and you get a little cowboy in you and you pick up 10, 15, 6-month options.
Oh, Jesus. Right.
And it's happened.
Yes.
And all of a sudden the stock turns against you.
Yes.
And you see your account value go, wah, wah,
Right,
wah.
because you just don't have enough time to be right about the stock. Okay, a few more questions. I'm about to quickly run out of time.
Okay.
If you can make so much money in Leaps options, and recently you had a $3,000 day in 24 hours, why do you think people trade penny stocks or stocks under $10 when options trading is so much more profitable?
Why do people do that? I think sometimes if you have a smaller account, and this goes back to one of the things that I spoke about earlier, staying in your lane. When you tell people, "Oh, I trade stocks," or "I'm a stock trader," this is something that I'm into, everybody and their mother has a stock tip for you.
Okay.
Well, the big thing now is a marijuana stock.
Right.
Everybody wants to do that. Or listen, stick with winners, and you'll be a winner.
Yes.
The company you keep is the company you keep.
Right.
So if you're trading winners, there's a higher likelihood that you're going to win. If you're trading a stock that's unproven, that you can't even see 4 quarters of top line revenue growth, then why would you trade that stock?
Right. Well, no, we know that.
Right.
But I just want you to provide the logic for people who are attracted to fast money, and they can make better money on established companies if they understood what Leap options were. No, so I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you.
So everybody wants it fast, but sometimes taking your time will serve you better in the long run.
How has stock and options trading changed your life? Because you've made some really dramatic changes.
I've made some very dramatic changes. When I first started my brokerage account, I started it with $2,500, and
and you weren't trading options then, just so people know, right?
No, okay. And I now manage over $100,000, and and that's just a marker, because if I can get to where I am, and I know where my big goal is, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, and it's really just a matter of time, and it's really not a lot of time. Because as your account grows and you have these instruments and you understand how they work and you have a system, wealthy investor, that works, that has worked, your account is going to start to grow exponentially. And so how has it changed my life? I now understand that I have somewhere to go if I need something. If God forbid something happens from a health standpoint and I need something, I know I can go someplace, and as long as I can click my mouse, as long as his little finger's working,
There's money to be made.
There's money to be made.
Right. And that to me is like the American dream, right?
It takes so much pressure off you.
Right.
So much. My 13-year-old boy is 6'4" and weighs 215 pounds. So I'm going to need a sneaker fund.
Right. Well, he actually knows how to trade in the market, right?
Yes, he does.
Right. Because I always say all wealth is taught. And you are teaching him how to do that.
Yes, I am.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
how do I
pretty
get
amazing.
a father like you?
Well, you see what you got to do.
Right. I was going to say it in a West Indian accent, but there's no way that doesn't work for you. Someone's listening to you right now going, wow, those guys know how to trade options.
Yes.
And they don't realize that they can too.
Oh, most definitely.
What advice would you give that person who's watching now who says, I want to learn how to make, $5, $10, $20,000 in a day?
Stay away from the 3-month and 6-month and 9-month call.
Okay.
And focus on the leaps. Sometimes they may cost you a little bit more, but at the end of the day, that's a good way for you to protect yourself from yourself.
Okay.
I tell my kids that sometimes. It's like, I have to help you protect you from you.
Right.
And if there's one piece of advice that I could give, just stick with the leaps.
Okay. Stay with leaps.
Yeah, just stick with the leaps.
Okay.
I think in the long run, it'll serve you better.
Okay. So stick with leaps.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And don't go with those shorter dated.
And don't forget to sell your covered calls.
And sell your covered calls
That's
consistently.
it,
Man,
sure.
you just told the damn thing.
Yeah, hey, that's not bad.
That's the closest I'm going to get here. Hey, thank you so much for stopping in. You're a
it's
busy
my
guy,
pleasure,
and I
my
really
pleasure.
appreciate you being here on our show.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
All
I really
right.
appreciate it.
That's Andre Blake. And Google him, go see his movies, and you're listening to him on television, constantly sell you stuff in the voiceover market.
Yes, sir.
Hey, listen, it's always a great day when you're Stick With Me and Wealthy Investor TV. I'm happy that you're here, and I hope you learned a little something about how to successfully trade options. But the thing I really want you to remember is that you can have financial success as a trader and investor more than you could have ever imagined with the right financial education. Hey, I'm Tyrone Jackson, a wealthy investor, and I'll see you right here next time. Hey, it's Tyrone Jackson, a wealthy investor, and I know something about you. You're always wondering what stock should you trade and what stock should you invest in. That's why you can follow my trades every single week at witradeschool.com. You see, at WI Trade School, I help people just like you make money in the stock market. Whether the market goes up, goes down, or stay the same. And one of the benefits of becoming a WI Trade School member is I'll answer your trading questions every single week in my video blog. Now, the best thing about WI Trade School, you have access to it 24 hours a day as long as you have an internet connection. So log on to witradeschool.com or click below and I'll see you there. It's time for me to help you make money in the stock market right now. Hey, this is Tyrone Jackson, a wealthy investor from WITV, Wealthy Investor TV. If you like the video you just saw, I need you to do me a favor. Click that subscribe button right there. Do you see the subscribe button? Great. Click it. That way, when I create a brand new video, you'll be notified.